Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is for Haley 2024, the Movement's Government Reform Ideas. Now, this is the fifth of 9 videos on my monetary policy, on competitive currency. So, this reform is going to be on 1,000 competitive currencies throughout the United States, fully backed up with standardized units. Let's go through it real quick. This video is the fifth of 9. This one's going to be on MCAPs. Settling up. I'll discuss what an MCAP is in a minute. Haley 2024, the movement calls for competitive governance. In banking, the way that's going to be is every bank chooses what governing agency they want to govern them dealing with banking regulations and how they deal with that currency. So every competitive currency at the state level will have and there'll be about 100 states or whatever I'm predicting with other reforms I have throughout Haley 2024, and about 10 currencies per state. So that's where I get 1,000. So people will initially think that if you have competitive regulatory agencies regulating banks, banks will just have the regulations that favor them. Well, I have a system where everybody gets to know what their standards are. And if the customer is not protected and all the protections are to the bank, nobody wants to bank with that bank because they don't have the protection. There's going to be a nice balance. Standards will rise because customers will demand better banking. And there'll be a competition for banking, and that competition comes with better standards. So let's go through it. We're going to discuss all 9 different videos I'm going to be doing, all 9 different aspects of the currency. So creating the monetary currency asset portfolio, which is a empty storeroom, then you add assets to it. You create currency based off the exact value of those assets. At the operations of an MCAP means when you put assets into the storeroom, you get you create new currency. When you exchange the assets, meaning the currency for the assets, you take assets out of the storeroom, that currency vanishes. The number of units of currency has to match exactly the assets in the storeroom. The back dollar, it's the average, that's at the federal level, so it deals with all 1,000 currencies, all 1,000 MCAPs. We talked about the gain and the loss of the value of assets in the storeroom of the MCAP. And because basically you're going to have assets coming and going all the time within the storeroom, and the assets are going to change value on a daily basis. Stocks, precious metals, loans, all these things, commodities, they change value on a daily basis. And those things are going to be backing up the currency. So those things gain and lose value all the time. So I discussed that in the last video. All the videos are going to be in December of 2021. They'll be in all my social media sites. Plus, by the end of 2021, they'll be in my website. So look for that. The best place to look for is within the website, so you can have it all together. So, so gain and loss. This video is going to be on MCAP settling up and make sure they get the right amount of assets. And they settle up with the other MCAPs. And it's all done very mechanically, very non-subjective. There's a subjective side on the rating system side to make sure the assets are honest pricing. We'll get to that in a second. Assets of an MCAP, so it deals with a lot of different assets we might go put in there. Keeping the value of the assets honest, that'd be the rating system side. So they'll be above a rating floor system. And every MCAP is going to have integrity, honesty, transparency, and run honestly, run with honest pricing. And that's going to be discussed. The Federal Reserve in the transition, we fulfill all our promises to back up the current U.S. dollar with actual assets. And then we transition away rather rapidly away from the U.S. dollar. Within a year or two, the full transition can happen. The practical use of the competitive currency, it's a wrap up. It's how to do it practically, and just a lot more points I need to make. So let's go over settling up. So MCAP settling up and with each other, because when people trade in the marketplace, one currency for another currency. So somebody using currency A buy something that gets deposited in currency B, currency B is a rightful owner of some of currency A's assets. So they can go get those assets. That's what we're talking about. For better understanding, let's assume 2 MCAPs. So when we have 1,000, it's just too complicated to keep anything in your head and keep track of it. So let's just, for understanding purposes, let's just try to assume 2 MCAPs. A person with MCAP A currency buys a car for $20,000 from a business that turns it into a bank using MCAP B. So just MCAP A, MCAP B. Somebody buys a car, and they bought it with MCAP A currency. The car dealership, they take that money and put it into their bank that uses MCAP B. Now, MCAP B is now a rightful owner. Well, the business is a rightful owner, and the MCAP is handling it on behalf of the business. They're handling that money. The person gained that one person gained a $20,000 car and lost $20,000 of their MCAP A currency. That's what buying something means. You lose your currency, you gain the product, the thing that you bought. So it's a trade. The business lost a $20,000 car and gained $20,000 of MCAP A currency. So they lost something worth $20,000 and gained something worth $20,000. So now they own actually assets in currency A's MCAP. The business wants to convert their ownership rights from the currency A MCAP. From the MCAP. I'm sorry, let me say it again. The business, the car dealership that sold the car, they now have $20,000 worth of MCAP A currency. And they wanted it in their bank. They want to use currency B, currency from the MCAP B. On behalf of the business, so banks always do things, and the MCAP does things on behalf of the people who own it, the owners of the currency. MCAP B has ownership rights over $20,000 of MCAP A's assets. MCAP B buys, I'd say buys in quotes because they have ownership. They're not really buying something. They go shopping for it, yes. They buy it, yes. But it's really because you have ownership. You exchange your currency with the ownership rights for MCAP A assets. So the assets from MCAP A. With 1,000 currencies in America, okay, now I'm going back. Let me just go back here. So now currency B has those assets. And it goes into the account of the business that sold the car. So now everything's equal. Currency A lost $20,000 worth of assets. Yes. Currency B gained $20,000 worth of assets. True. But the person lost a $20,000 car. The business lost a $20,000 car. So it's all equal. Now, over time, currency B will gather up money again when they produce things. But for that transaction, that's how you settle up. Now, with 1,000 currencies in America, every bank will likely receive hundreds of different currencies daily. Hundreds, if not all 1,000. You'll probably come in contact with all 1,000. MCAP for a daily basis will come in contact with all the other currencies out there. It could be as low as 400 or 500 currencies. It could really go all the way up into 4,000 or 5,000 currencies, if not a little bit more on the extreme. So, but I'm doing 1,000 just because I'm saying 100 states, 10 per state, just to make it a little bit easier. So they're going to be coming in contact. Every currency from constitutionally established MCAP, so you have to be constitutionally established. The only people that can do currency at 1,000. Everybody's going to have a currency they like. You can do business with any state's currency you want. You can do. There's no restriction on that. So with 1,000, you're going to find one that you want. So somebody who just wants gold, there's going to be one that just holds gold. It might not work as good. I don't think it will. but a lot of people think that gold's the best asset out there for it, the best thing to back up a currency. There's going to be several with that thought pattern, and you can do business with them, no problem. If somebody wants to use Bitcoin, you can do that, but I don't think Bitcoin is going to pan out well because it doesn't have underlying value per Bitcoin. Okay, and I don't want to get into that discussion right now on that. That's irrelevant right now. Every currency from a constitutionally established MCAP is legal tender that must be accepted as payment within America. Now, if you don't want to do business with somebody, regardless of what type of payment, you can decline business with somebody. And it's a constitutional right that you don't have to associate with somebody you don't want to associate with. Hopefully it won't be for bad discriminatory practices. That might get banned under rating floors somewhere else. But let's not go there right now. But if you're going to do business with somebody, you're willing to do business with somebody, you have to accept any legally established MCAP because they're all going to be rated high enough to warrant being trusted. They'll all be trusted because they're all regulated strong enough to be honest with their money. So, okay. No business is going to say, oh, I don't want to accept North Dakota's currency B. They don't have good currency. No. All of them are going to be, if they're legally established, and there'll be easy way to know whether they're legally established or not. Digital certificates, they're going to be very well known. Your bank will know when you do your digital acceptance of currency coming in. They're going to know. Every bank turns in their currency to their state MCAP. So every bank, the MCAP that's regulating them, there's banking CRA that regulates them. They're going to turn in their currency to them. Then every state MCAP turns in their currency, except theirs, turns in everybody else's currency to the federal BD, the Federal Sector Board. The federal BD returns currencies to their correct MCAP. So they're just a big clearinghouse that takes in all the currencies, then divvy it up to where it belongs. Now, everybody's going to be a little bit different. What they send back up and what they get back are going to be either heavy or light. So if you send up 1,000 units and get back 900, you're 100 heavy. So you're still owed another 100 units. Meaning if a state MCAP turns in 100 million units of currency to the BD and only gets back 99 million of its currency, they are heavy and due 1 million more units. So they deserve 1 million more units. Over 1,000 MCAPs, the heavy and lights will exactly balance out. So some will turn in 99 and get back 100. They're light. They need to give up some assets. People who are heavy, they get to get assets. The heavy MCAPs will be able to shop because they have the ownership rights to 1 million more units of assets than they gave up. So they get to go shop from the assets that are light. Now they can shop from anywhere they want. They can go get new assets. They'll have the BD to go shop wherever they want to. And the other MCAP's going to lose some value, lose some assets. But in reality, it's all even exchange. Just like my first example of the car, $20,000 car. People got the car, but they lost assets in their bank account. And the MCAP lost value. Okay, the heavy MCAPs had ownership rights, the currency, of the light MCAPs that were light MCAPs. The BD must fully back up proportionally be the key word here, with state level CRA currencies. Thus, the proportionality will constantly be moving out of balance. Because let's say people want to hold 10% of all money in the BD, in coins and paper. then everybody must be exactly 10% of their MCAP. They have to give that CRA currency to the MCAP in exchange for the BD, because people want to hold that BD. So they get the BD instead of their CRA currency. And that has to be fully backed up. But because it has to be exactly 10% or whatever the percentage is, everybody has to be the exact same. So if it's 10% people want to own, then they have to, everybody has to be exact, all the MCAPs have to be exactly 10%. So they're going to be either heavy or light on that one as well. And you have to think about it. It took me a while just to think about, okay, what does that mean? How does that, do you have to give up assets, gain assets? Well, if you're heavy or light on that. And I know that might not mean everything. It really took me a lot of time just to think, okay, can this work? Can the MCAP, can the Federal Sector Board handling the BD just change somebody's account a little bit here and there, and everybody's account, heavy or light, and they go shopping for the assets of the light? It can happen. I worked it out in the head. I worked it out on paper, and it can work out. It'd be a very mechanical thing. It's kind of hard to have somebody understand something when you're talking literally over 1,000 different MCAPs and you have assets going in and out all the time. It's complicated, but very, very mechanically and mathematically and accounting wise, it's very, very simple. Okay, please consider donation to the website if you could, to the Haley 2024 the movement, so I can really get this word out. And everything's easy to find on Haley2024.org. And until the next video, and again, the videos will be all out there on December of 2021 for the currency. I had this idea up there 4 or 5 years ago, so it's a lot of stuff up there already, but I'm doing a lot of sets of videos right there in December 2021. Until the next video.